Hello and welcome to Amipal, the #1 place on the internet for the sweetest Amiga content. Where have I been? Well, I've been doing research overnight, lots of research, all the research. I've been researching magazines, old and new, books, all sorts of books. I've been researching games and programs. Whatever you can research, I've been researching it. I've been getting on transatlantic flights to fly out and see people in America. I've gone into Europe to the demo scene, all the research. Anyway, with that out of the way, yeah, I've been a bit busy. Some holiday on all of that. Time runs on and I find myself not recording anything. Today's episode is about something that is kind of taking my time away from the Amiga somewhat. And that is old Games Workshop stuff. Yes, I have fallen back into its clutches, fallen back into the early to mid 90s, well, most of the 90s actually, miniatures and games. So what better way to amalgamate both of those interests than to see, well, my hands didn't even appear on screen there, both of those interests, than to see what kind of Games Workshop stuff made it to the Amiga. Now I've got quite a few games lined up here, so it's going to be one of those special Amipal Games Collections episodes. Oh yes, I know you love those. So first up I present to you the wonderful Space Hulk. Deploy your squad of Marines into an abandoned spaceship drifting through space, and within lurk horrors unimaginable. Your missions, well, you get a variety of missions, which range from get your Marines to point X, to clear a Hulk, to blow this up. It's got some very nice pixel art at the beginning here. They've done well to use the limited palette. This, of course, is a OCS game. And of course, for the eagle-eyed there, these are the Deathwing Terminators of the Dark Angels Space Marine chapter, replete in their bone white armour, honouring their fallen warriors who see artwork there by Tim White and Andy Jones. See, nice, another nice bit of research for you. Anyway, let's go. You can do a bit of training in order to work out what's going on, but I kind of know what's going on, so we shall begin. I'm not really sure I want to do Suicide Mission, but let's give Suicide Mission a try. This is your commander. He gives you your mission and what needs to be done. The launch control room must be destroyed. This will be done by a direct flamer hit. Be quick or you will be overwhelmed. Now for your detailed mission briefing. Now, you do get a variety of weapons for your elite Marines to go through the map. There is the map right there, as I said it. Flamer, of course, is some kind of flamethrower device carried by the Terminators, which you can use to either burn the horrible Genestealer infestation or for clearing rooms like we have to do here. Now, it looks like this is going to be quite busy. The Emperor has dictated your squad's weaponry, so I don't do any kind of loading of their weapons. Or loadout, as it gets called these days. Because everything has to have a superfluous out on the end. Anyway, my Marines cry ready. As you can see, freeze is flashing. You've got a limited amount of time for time to be frozen. And then things start moving. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Marines here. We get this wonderful first person view, but it is kind of your, I'm going to take that off. It is your classic dungeon crawler kind of thing. So you move forward at a specific rate, and you move back at a specific rate. But it is nice to see like my Marine moving in that top left window as well, just slightly after I do my move. Now, what we can do with freeze, right click on the map, you can have this tactical view, and as you can see we've got a blip here. So we're going to open the door, that one, we're going to open the door and go there. Just to get him through. Anyway, let's go back into the map. Yeah, you've got a variety of moves that you can do. So my chap here, I'm going to move him forward, and then these, I think I need to turn him right. You can see it put the wrong one there. Not sure what's going on there. Whether I need to update a slave or something for WHD load. Anywho, let's get the squad moving forward. I find this is probably the easiest way to do moves, because otherwise you tend to just panic as soon as you're in first person mode. So let's get back in here. It's unfreeze time. Yep. Turn the wrong way. Ah! And like that, I've lost someone. And it was the flamer, which... yeah, you need the flamer to complete the mission. So, yeah, it's not a very forgiving game, this, but nor is the Space Hulk board game it was based on. So, you know, you could argue that they've done a good job at replicating it. Let's get people moving forward again. I'm just going to unfreeze that. Oh. I didn't do that. But here we are. I could already see them. Did you see them down there? Oh, you have to be quick. The longer you spend in this view, unfrozen, the more your time builds back up. So it's sometimes a good idea just to stop. Let the... Oh, God! Oh, let the time build. Here we go again. I'm going to jam. Your gun also jams as well. Right. Yeah, see, now I'm in trouble because my my flamer is literally the next guy. You right click in the one that you want, and that's how you get it back. I don't know how much fuel I've got for my flamer. That's the only trouble. It automatically deploys you here, and then you've got an issue because your flamer is automatically the second one. The flames will burn for a while, so you can use it tactically to kind of like block off areas, but it does also mean that you stay put. Oh, that one burnt. That was nice. God, look, they're coming out of the walls. I do think that Space Hulk is probably the one that gets the atmosphere of the games that you're about to see the best atmosphere. Oh no, I'm walking forward into it. What does that mean? Do I burn, or I don't know? Yeah, the other games, I mean, I don't think any of them can truly replicate the games themselves as you're playing them on the board, on the table, because you know you're usually playing with somebody else, so there's the camaraderie of it. But I mean, this one is the best looking of the bunch because it does give you this faux dungeon crawler look. You do feel cramped inside this derelict spaceship, and as you've seen, the Genestealers, the aliens, they do just suddenly appear, and despite your thick ceramite armour, the Genestealers do just chop through it. I don't think I fired that. And my flamer now has 0, so I've failed the mission because flamer ammunition has been exhausted. Space Ark, everyone, love it. Now time for Space Crusade. Original game released in 1991. The computer version, published by Gremlin, released in 1992. And Gremlin, of course, known for such wonders as Zool. Yeah, that's right. Zool, Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge, that kind of thing. But yeah, it does appear they got a bit of a kind of a Hasbro / Games Workshop license in the early 90s. So here, doesn't really tell you much what we want to do. These are the different Space Marine chapters that you can choose, whether you go for Blood Angels, Imperial Fierce or Ultramarines. I think it makes much difference. Let's go for Blood Angels. I usually go for Ultramarines, but that's because I'm an Ultramarine player. Cool, look at all these missions. Let's go with Seek and Destroy. Seek and destroy Dreadnought aboard alien vessel 653. The aliens have blocked some corridors with rubble. Clear rubble with weapon hit of 1 or above. So that's my mission chosen. That's my chapter chosen. Let's play. So it's much like the Space Crusade board game itself. If I click, well, you can see it is a board that's laid out like such, with corridors and rooms. It's a bit of a Alien Breed Special Edition feel to it. You can go into this kind of isometric view as well, which is quite nice. But I wouldn't advise playing it like that. I don't think it works too well. So we do it like this. We'll just go for the top down. Let's get my commander moving. You've got a variety of action points really, in similar way to kind of XCOM. So once I move, I can then put people on Overwatch, or I can shoot, or I can do hand to hand, depending on what remains. Funnily enough, even though I've my full view, I can still go into an Overwatch, but only for one character. Now this is going to be interesting because it says that there's like people everywhere. Yeah, this might not end well. It's not a very forgiving game, I will say that. But then I don't think Space Crusade ever was. My sergeant may have gone too far ahead here. That's it. Get everyone together, Paul. That'll do it. Everyone's moved. Can't move anymore. So we go next. And then it's the alien move. You get random things like weapons jamming. Some of them do psychic powers on you. Oh no. So things can happen in between your turn and the alien turn. This is the randomizer where they're deciding whether or not they're hitting you or damaging you, in the same way that the dice would be rolled in the game itself. God, that sergeant's getting it all, isn't he? I don't think I'll be playing this for long. Hey, you've already shot. How can you carry on moving? Bit cheeky, isn't it? I don't really want the missile launcher taken out because I think he can possibly do a lot of damage to all of these Gretchen and Orcs all in front of me here. Right, my turn. Looks like we survived that fusillade. He can't actually see anyone. It's not very handy, is it? Nor can he, because that's on the diagonal. He can't fire either. That's a bit weird. Is my weapon jammed? Is that what's going on? Let's do hand to hand for him. And we'll see whether we can... yeah, we'll re-roll. We'll see if we can take out this orc. Turns out he's hit me, I think. Now I've got a defending score. Oh, no, other way round. How about that? Excellent. Right, another scan. Let's move him here, since he doesn't seem to be want to shoot anyone. Oh no! That's 1 Marine down out of 5. Oh dear. I do actually like the way this looks. I think it's quite effective. It's simple enough to work out what's going on. Oh, it's nice to hear Gretchen screaming like a human though. Right. Can he now see somebody? Can I see that Gretchen over there, for instance? Oh, no, you have to click move first, Paul. And once you move, that's it. Oh, that's annoying, isn't it? Let's get him into combat with the orc. For some reason, I can't attack anymore. But I'm sure I'd work out why if I did some research. So, we carry on. Goes back to the enemy turn. Turns out my sergeant can re-roll scores, so we'll do that. And yeah, it goes between your turn and the enemy turn, with things happening in between. You've got multiple missions, as you saw. Primarily, you fight against orcs and Gretchen, but there are other aliens available. I mean, the actual mission is to destroy a Chaos android, so that's somewhere on this spaceship, somewhere for us to destroy. There is also an expansion disc available that I've also got installed, which increases the mission count and enemies available. At least the sergeant seems to be doing well. The rest of his squad are falling by the wayside. If it's a high number, I'm not going to re-roll that, am I? That would seem silly. I'd like to re-roll that though. 0. It's like my dice rolls in the actual games. Is he going to kill the rest of them? No, it's back to my turn. That's one thing I'd like to see is an actual kind of indication that the turn has changed back to you, because you can sit there for a while watching it thinking, oh, is so-and-so going to do their move? Turns out it's your turn. But there we are. That is Space Crusade. And so we move from the 41st millennium to something a bit more fantasy. Now we head into the realm of fantasy. Again, Gremlin. This time they've published Hero Quest, the classic 1989 board game from MB Games in association with GW. This was released in 1991, and it's got this quite lovely intro, which of course you don't get with the board game. And it tells the story of a wizard who has an apprentice who is so eager to learn powerful magic that he will sneak into the apprentice's room, the wizard's room, in order to read the books of immense power. And of course, he's learning too fast, and his brain gets corrupted, and he turns to the powers of chaos. The wizards battle, and the apprentice flees to the Chaos Wastes in the north. And of course, this apprentice, his Chaos allies, will start to take over various dungeons where you and your merry band of warriors will go. The first thing you want to do when you go into the menu, because you don't really just want to play with the barbarian, is bring the rest of the merry band into play, so that when you go into battle you have all four rather than just one. Now let's choose some spells. That's the wizard. Yeah, let's go for those. Right. Quest for the Spirit Blade. You have awoken the Witch Lord. He will pose a most serious threat to the Emperor in the coming war. The Witch Lord must be destroyed before he can bring his army of the undead to attack the Emperor's forces. You must first find the Spirit Blade, for only this ancient weapon can harm him. The ancient blade was forged by the dwarves of the World's Dead Mountains and cooled in the elven fountain of Laban. The sword now lies in an ancient ruined temple, and you must recover it. So here we are. This is the board, very much like the board of Hero Quest. So you saw that spinning coin. That's basically your die to randomise your movements. So we will go over here and I will search. Nothing. Right. Ah, the dwarf. I search for treasure. And a bundle of rags is a small bottle of liquid. It is a healing potion. I'm sure that will come in handy for the game ahead. Elf can't really move anywhere, so we'll just skip. And same with the wizard, really. Okay, once again we've got a player turn and an enemy turn. Right, I've got 3 more moves left, so we go 1, 2, and we will stab this. Nope. No, I'm up here. This goblin in the back. Although he's turned around to fight. There you go. Bash. Turn straight into flaming death. I can't move anymore, so on to the next one. It's funny, I've been playing another game of Warhammer Quest at the weekend. And with that, the dwarf most definitely does not go second. I think it's more of an initiative order. So the barbarian, he's got the lantern in order to lead the way, but it's the elf who goes second, and then the wizard, and then finally the dwarf, because the dwarf has a low initiative, you see. Okay, let's go in. Oh, we've already got a baddie. Well, I've got 8 more moves left though, so let's go there. Attack! And so yeah, you get various enemies appear in rooms. Your merry band of warriors continuously search around for treasure and stuff. Searching for treasure, and yeah, finally the... oh my goodness, it's a Chaos Warrior. I survived the attack, but at what cost? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I shoot him? Oh no. 6. Let's do that. 12. That's what we want. Let's see whether the wizard can actually affect this at all. But of course, we have this. Fire of Wrath. Well, that was easy enough. It'd be nice to actually see him consumed by that, wouldn't it? Okay, and because he's done his action, he can't do anything else, so on we go. And so it goes on and on and on until we actually complete our quest. This, I feel, is very close to the actual board game itself, and because you've got the 4 individual players, you can quite easily play this with another 3 humans, actual live human creatures, who will each take up the role of one of the mighty warriors. So yeah, I think from a social perspective, I think this could probably be the closest for you. It's you know, it's not the best looking of the 4 that I'm going to show you, but I think it's got a certain quality to it. It's got a definite gremlin feel to it. Feels very gremlin indeed, and yeah, I very much enjoy this game. Right, on to the 4th. It's Gremlin again. 1994 with Hero Quest 2. I don't think there was a Hero Quest 2 released by MB or GW, but there we go. This is a spiritual follow-on to the original. Hero Quest 2, Legacy of Sarassel. And it's got epic music. So, you have a much wider gamut of warriors who can join your merry band this time. We'll have the classic barbarian. We will bring the elf into play. We shall also have a wizard. And last but not least, the dwarf, because I just want to keep it classic. Now, let's go. This definitely shows a bit more understanding of the Amiga hardware and palette at this point, just because it feels a lot more. I don't really want to say professional because they did an excellent job in the other game, but it's a lot more tighter. Just looks good, doesn't it? Barrow Mound of Yasserat. To reach the island of Rin and Ironwood Forest, you must cross the Shadow Mountains, my young friends. Not a very hospitable place, to be sure. It would take far too long to travel around them, as the range stretches for many hundreds of miles. So to this end, you must tread the path that takes you through the Valley of Sorrow, a region of very narrow gullies. Within the Valley of Sorrow lies the tomb of Yasserat, an infamous vampire king of legend. You must pass through his cold halls to reach the far side of the mountains. Oh, it goes in. There you go. Okay, so we've got a nice metric view on it again. Things have changed around a bit because they kind of know that they can fill a bit more of the screen with stuff. Let's go and attack him. Boop. Yeah, the interface is slightly different. Next one. No, that's search. It's a very busy map, as you can see. I will say one thing. I think the music's a bit nicer. And it's not actually too obvious how you progress in the game. Yeah. This corner of the book means that you can go to the next player. Which, like I said, isn't too obvious. But we'll carry on. Similarly, when you're in... No, not there. Nope, not there. In here, you've got your back arrow over here. Doesn't really stand out too much, but, you know. Wizard time. Let's try and protect the wizard. Because one thing I found with this game versus the previous one is that it is much more difficult. It's a bit of a challenge, this one. The enemies move via the map. It's a bit like movement in the Muppets film, isn't it? Haha! Graphics are a lot more colourful, a lot more detailed. It looks to me like the warriors have a set amount of action points this time round. You're not limited to the dice roll. Which, you know, means that you are kind of guaranteed a certain movement range for your band. But it does remove a bit more of that randomness, doesn't it? Nothing going on here. Okay, we progress. It's nice to see that you start outside. Yeah, that might open the door, Paul. Open it and shut it. Oh dear. Okay. We carry on, we carry on, we carry on. Let's get them all in front of the door before it gets too horrible outside. You know, it might start raining or something. As you complete missions, you can... Oh, I can move like that. How about that? As you complete missions, you can... you get gold and experience, so you can buy things. And gradually your warriors level up. This guy's not dying, is he? See what I mean? I've just got into the dungeon and I can't even kill the first guy. There we go. Gracious me. I'm guessing I can't... No, I'm going to have someone else come in. Yes, there was someone in there. I saw them on the map, but it doesn't actually blur it on here when you come in. So it does, you know, you can find that you get a bit confused by where people are. I didn't want to do that. Oh. Now, what does the wizard have? Not that. Magic. Let's click the magic one, shall we? Spells. Spell of lightning bolt, please. You think I'll be able to do it from spells, but no, you have to kind of move it from your backpack. I don't know what's going on there. I'm sure if I'd read the manual, I would know exactly what is going on, but I don't. And so here we are. I'm sure the wizard's probably going to get slain now. No! Oh, that was a surprise, wasn't it? Luckily, your characters can move through other characters, so they don't end up blocking each other, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Legacy of Sarrasil. This also came out on the CD32, which, you know, the machine didn't exactly have the most massive array of original software. So yes, it was another Amiga to CD32 port, not a brand new game for it, but there we go. And there we have 4 Games Workshop games for the Amiga. I say that because most of them were produced in association with Milton Bradley or Hasbro, whatever you want to call them, in order to make them. But all 4 games quite competent. I think Space Hulk is the most atmospheric of them. It still kind of makes me jump now. Just the sudden emergence of the Genestealers out of the gloom as they take you out and just wipe your team out. I mean, I doubt I'll sleep tonight. Space Crusade, it's a good game. It's probably one that you could spend a good rainy afternoon playing, a bit like today. You've got multiple missions you can work through. I'm sure you'll probably see quite a few missions where you get through 90% of it and then you'll just gun down mercilessly. You know, it's not a quick game by any means. Hero Quest, that is the closest you'll get to a board game out of any of the 4 of them. It's very enjoyable, and I think also probably the best one to play with other people as well. So, you know, if you're having like a computer games evening or anything, you just say, oh yeah, let's play a bit of Hero Quest. That'll be good fun. Legacy of Sarasel, I like the I wouldn't really say it's an upgrade over the original game. It's less of the board game in video game mode. It's more of an actual computer game, isn't it? They're actually trying to make it a more fun computer game. And the fact it also got a CD32 release kind of shows that, you know, maybe they were looking to see whether or not this thing could actually work on consoles. Either way, all 4 worth having a look at. And, you know, there's plenty of content there in all 4 games to definitely spend a lot of time on. The question is, why didn't GW make more computer games during that era? Well, the idea goes that they didn't really want to draw people away from their bread and butter business. You know, once you've sold people a computer game, that's it. They've got that. There's not the idea that, you know, you'll buy the rule book for a particular game and then you've got them on the lead for further miniatures, further expansions, further card games, etc., etc. On the other hand, it could have been seen as a nice introduction for people who maybe were a bit young for that hobby. Kind of introduction to the universe and the games and the different races and factions that are available. But that's by the by, you know, we're well out of the 90s now, despite us still loving our Amigas and everything else that goes along with it. There was one other game that I thought I'd mention, because no doubt someone will pick it up in the comments. Cult of Speed. This was actually previewed in the April 1994 edition of the One Amiga, article by Simon Byron. And Cult of Speed is basically following orcs on a planet who... It's a racing game. They're in fast buggies and trikes, and they're racing each other, and it's a dangerous race. It looked pretty good. It was a very early preview, so I'm sure there would have been a lot more polish to it. I would have liked to have seen it, but there's a very telling quote in there from EA themselves where they actually say, you know, we might as well produce this because if you have a look, games are still selling by the bucket load. And yet it was never released. And so there we go. Thank you for watching this episode. Again, if you've got any ideas or comments, please leave them in the comments below. I've been delayed making this due to various bits and pieces happening. One thing I will say though, a very important fact, is I'm just a hobbyist. The Amiga is my passion. I make this when I can. I've made a lot of jokes about research and stuff in this episode. I can only do so much with my time, and I try and bring it all together into an episode. Sometimes I forget things, sometimes I don't have enough time to prepare. I just like to get this stuff out. And yeah, possibly I could bring a bit more accuracy into what I do, but I do like to think that what I am saying in these videos is pretty much there anyway. But like I say, if you've got any issues with any particular points I bring up, please do mention them and I'll see what I can do. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Hang on, I haven't mentioned my worms level. I made a Worms level for Director's Cut. So you need Worms Director's Cut. It won't work on the original one. And it's called Space Hulk. So, you know, there you go. There's another GW-related game for the Amiga. I'll pop it in the end credits, but the idea for it was that it's a Genestealer infested Space Hulk, and the worms are fighting over it. I've meant to make an episode about creating levels for Worms DC for ages, and it's something I hope to get onto at some point. So keep an eye on the channel. You might see one after Christmas. I don't know. Thanks.